the end of the day, selling is transferring a feeling. If you don't have the feeling, you can't transfer it. If you don't have a good, positive feeling, dude, you're an actor. You have to sell and run your business from a place of positivity. And however you get there, God bless you. Welcome to the Primeau Show. It is episode 163, and we are doing something we have never done before. We're doing 2 episodes of Ask Pete in a row because we had so many questions. We just had to get to it. Let me pay the bills real quick, folks. If you have not already bought my book, Sell a Million, what are you waiting for? 101 tips for furniture and mattress store owners to sell another $1 million or more this year. And thank you to my friends at the Mattress Industry Network Group. I appreciate your support and sponsoring our show. If you are in the mattress industry and you want to network, you want to build your business, and you kind of feel like you're out there all alone by yourself, join our group. There's over 22, maybe even 2,300 people now in our group. And we have a mix of people in here, store owners, owners of manufacturing. If you want to learn how to build, how to network, how to advertise, how to display better than you are today, join the Mattress Industry Network group. Hit that QR code right there. And I pop in a few times a week, tell them Pete sent you. And without further ado, let's get the show started. The one and only Chris Stone, the best producer in the world.
Oh, stop, Pete.
Like I said, the best producer in the world,
or at least the best one you know. How about that? I'll take
the most patient one I know.
Oh, okay. That actually I'll take. I hope my wife is tuning in. So yeah, it's Ask Pete, and this is kind of like a bonus Ask Pete, right? Because we've gotten to the nice problem of more questions than we can handle in an hour, and the live show that we previously had, and of course those are all available on replay on the YouTube channel. And I'm going to do this because Pete is more of a humble gentleman, but if you have yet to subscribe to the YouTube channel, just go to @PetePrimeau on YouTube. And all of the shows are available there to view, and all kinds of great videos as well. And so we've got questions, and if you are watching this on replay and you do have a question, you can't make the live, you can always email Pete at peteprimo@ameritech.net. Just put Ask Pete in the subject line, and that way Pete can grab those and send them over to me, and we can get them answered for you. So at this point, it's like, typically when we do go live and we're not on replay, if somebody's got questions, they kind of take precedent for the broadcast. But we had so many questions that were emailed in, we want to get to those. So Pete, how do you want to do this? Do we just want to jump into it, or did I do all the housekeeping properly?
I think so. So, yes. And then some. So, yeah, let's get started. What questions you have?
Okay, let's get this newfangled thing up here on the screen for Ask Pete. So we have a question here from Embarrassed in New York. And this is, "Hey, Pete, I've only been in the business for a few years, and I'm embarrassed to ask this question, but can I request the rep that I want for a particular line?"
Wow, that's a great question. The answer 10 years ago was no. You would get whatever rep you had in New York and lump it or leave it. That is changing. So for years and years, I only had Ohio and Western PA. And now I have a team of reps, and we represent 7 states in the Midwest. And so I actually have some situations where they want to work with me instead of one of my reps. And I do, on a very, very limited basis, allow that. But I would say the answer in general is no. However, there are some lines like bed tech is one of them. There really are no territories except for my territory in Ohio. All the other territories that I have reps in, it's open season. So if there's somebody that you like, you can ask for them. So Mark, the the answer is it depends. It's like my favorite answer in the whole world, right? I always find myself saying it depends because I want to be accurate. Most of the time, the answer is no. For some lines and in some states, uh, there might be a choice of reps. And I will tell you this that the landscape in repping is completely changed. And so I get a lot of these questions, Mark. Thank you for asking that question. It's a great question. If you have, a situation that you want to talk about, just hit me up on my cell. I probably go to voicemail because I don't know your number, but just say, hey, I'm Mark. I'm the guy confused in New York, and I'm the guy that had the question, about repping, and just call me 419-560-3169. And I'm happy to go a little bit in further into the answer for that question for you and the specific instance that you need. So thanks for the question. Great question. I get asked it all the time, so I'm really glad that question was there. So there's a lot of people asking that. I can't hear you, Chris.
Sorry about that. Next question is from Almost Out of Business.
Ooh.
And this is my business is not doing well. Can you please give me an example of a mattress or furniture retailer doing well? If you can think of one, can you tell me why? And this is Almost Out of Business in Georgia, my state.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Almost out of business in Georgia. Um, without the permission of several retailers, I'm not going to give you a name on the show. I am going to reach out to. There's three of them in particular that jump out at me who are doing extremely well right now. So, what I am going to do for the benefit of everybody that's watching this is I'm going to go into the why in detail, and they are different whys for different retailers. So, again, my cell number is 419-560-3169. Almost out of business. Call me and I will share whatever details my retailers allow me to. But right now, I'm going to answer the why. And it's going to be a little bit different. So, does it say if this is a furniture or mattress store? Chris?
It just says business.
Okay. All right. So, um, I'm gonna give you an example of two sleep shops, and then I'm gonna give you one that's a combination of mostly a sleep shop, but has some furniture. Okay. Um, so here is why I think they're doing well, and I'm gonna start off with one that's actually in Pennsylvania, and in my book, I talk about you becoming the marketer of your business. Super important. This is not a sales book, by the way. This is a book on marketing, and it bleeds sales because I'm a sales guy, but I had to learn marketing to be more valuable to my retailers. And I've spent a lot of money. Ask my wife how much money I've spent on marketing. She could probably tell you to the penny, and it's a lot. And it's more than the money invested going to the seminars and taking the courses and all of that stuff and keeping it up to date is the time that I've committed to it. But I do that for the benefit of my dealers so that I can help them. So This particular retailer in Pennsylvania is perhaps the best marketer in the entire industry. This is a person who, whatever my number is, whether it's at 100,000 or 200,000, this dude is double in what he's invested. All right. I mean, this is like rarefied air. Am I saying you have to spend $100,000 or $200,000 when you're almost out of business to get an education in marketing? No, no. Here, right now, go on Amazon, and it's either $14.95, soon to be $19.95. For $20 or less, you can have something that will keep you busy for the next year to 2 years implementing. So you don't have to spend a ton of money doing what I've done or doing what this gentleman from Pennsylvania has done. Um, the other thing that's super, super important is, and sometimes we get into the weeds on things that don't matter. So I'm going to give you a quick marketing lesson. Media, market, message. This is where everybody screws up because they get really attached to a media before they've established the market. They get really hung up and really into a message before they've established the market. It is properly identify your market, then your message, and then your media. And I could do a whole show on this. I'm not going to do it. If you have questions, pick up the phone and call me, 419-560-3169. Market message media. Who is your market? Who are you selling? Don't tell me everyone. You don't have enough money to go after everyone, and maybe that's why you're almost out of business. So let me keep going. This particular store goes after better customers, committed to better customers. They are in a very competitive landscape. They've got all kinds of dirty window stores around. They also have some other higher end stores that they directly compete against. Okay. Um, but they are very focused on who their market is, who their message is, what the message is, and then they use different types of media. The media takes care of itself. When you understand your market and you understand your message, sometimes the media actually gets dictated to you. For instance, if you're going after a higher end customer, you're not going to find them on Facebook. They're not there. Executives that own their own businesses, high level executives, they're not there. The only place you might catch them is LinkedIn. If you're really just a diehard social media advertiser guy, you're going to do better with direct mail with these guys. You're going to do better with other ways of getting to them. More promotional customers, definitely Facebook's a great way to get to them, but there's a lot of pitfalls in that. That has all changed. It used to be easy. It's not as easy. You need specific strategies to be successful in Facebook today. Display. Display uh, for this particular retailer. When you walk into the store, it's not like any mattress store you've ever been in. Um, the attention to detail is different. It's thoughtful. And when you are greeted, the sales process, it doesn't start off with, hey, we've got mattresses for 70% off, and I've got a really great deal over here. Let me show you this. No, it doesn't start that way. It starts off with, glad you're in the store. And they ask you some questions and they invite you to sit down and talk about your needs. A novel approach, huh? And whether you want to sit down or not, they're still going to go through their sales process and they're going to identify pretty much what your needs are, what the do's and don'ts of the sale are based on whatever is going on with that particular customer. So there's a sales process. It's orchestrated and it's an excellent sales process. And so one of the things that I constantly look at, businesses that are sick have usually disconnected important pieces of their machine. So if you look at it as advertising brings them in the store, the next thing they're in the store, they see the display, they see the merchandising, they talk to a salesperson, and then um, inventory becomes important, and then the delivery and the service and everything else. And if you do that well, you have uh, you have word of mouth advertising, which is the cheapest and the best. And you get 5-star online reviews, and you get testimonials. And if you really knocked it out of the park, you will get referrals as well. But this is what I see. I see a disconnect between the advertising and when they walk through the door, completely disconnected. And then the sales process is usually disconnected from the other two. It has to be seamless, no matter how promotional a store is or how high end a store is. The advertising, the message in the advertising has to be consistent with what they see and feel when they walk into the store, and the
Mhm.
actual sales process that they encounter, and the delivery process, and everything else has to flow. So that's, let's call that retailer A. Retailer B, again, higher end, going after a higher end customer, been in business a very long time, um, 18 years to be exact, has marketed themselves on video the entire time. Hokey, silly videos, using humor, using pets, using children, using their babies when they were babies, and now their kids are in college and have graduated from college. Okay. It's a family affair. You feel like you've watched these kids grow up. You feel like they're your children.
Right.
So you might look at one of those videos by yourself and go, that's not a slick video. That is not a professional video. But when consistently used, this store has separated themselves from everybody, because you can get their different mattress brands at any store, but you can't get this guy and his family that you have come to really like and know, and most of all, trust. So you can't go back. And if you haven't been in business 18 years, you can't recreate that very easily. But I will tell you this is a store owner who bought this book, and the other store owner did too. His wife bought him another one because it got so torn up, and he makes his salespeople read it. And it's not really a sales book, it's a marketing book, but
Yeah.
he wants his salespeople involved in everything. He is now doing something that is incredible. He is making his salespeople into mini uh, media superstars in their market. And so every one of those salespeople have been in videos. And so it's not just him in the videos anymore. It's his sales manager. It's his, a salesperson all the way to the bottom. And there really is no bottom. They're better, and they're great. This is the best sales culture I've ever seen. So how do you get a great sales culture? Here it is. Hire very carefully. Make sure they're coachable. I will share this with you. This gentleman was a basketball coach. He's still coaching. He coaches every day. He coaches his store managers. He coaches the team. He coaches the players. And he is a support system. And now he has created a business that he can walk away from for days at a time and they don't miss a lick. His favorite thing that he says to me is, they don't need me anymore. And I said, they still need you, but you've done a great job, because a business should be able to be left alone and it still produce good results. So focused on higher end, hiring very coachable salespeople.
Yeah.
This store B is the one that has the youngest sales staff and one of the best sales staffs I've ever seen throughout the entire United States. C is a young guy who's a second generation, who is an absolute whiz on social media, a whiz with Facebook, a whiz with testimonials. I've never seen him let anyone out of that store without getting a referral and a review. Focused again on higher end, better goods. All three of these retailers, when it comes to merchandise split heads, and they merchandise two-sided beds. If you are not going after two-sided beds, you're not going after split heads. And then the third thing they all have in common is a commitment to latex beds. And why is that important? The reason that's important is because your biggest competitor doesn't have them. Big dumb companies haven't gotten there yet. So they all will. Everybody's going to have two-sided, split heads, and latex. But right now, a bunch don't have it. So if you don't have that and you have any money almost out of business, jump into split heads, two-sided, and latex if you can. I know you're in a tough spot. I really want you to call me. I mean, my heart's breaking here. Most people work hard. Most people want to do the best they can for their family. So call me at 419-560-3169. Sorry, I went all over the place. Chris, any thoughts?
No, great stuff. I think some of the things that resonated with me from what you talked about, those three types. The first one, the A, you said something and you kind of breezed by it in the customer experience part, was how you made them feel. And I think when people, and I'm not even sure, what leader or influencer or whoever said it, but that is what they're going to remember. They're not going to remember, what the difference is between this particular mattress and this particular mattress. They're probably not going to do that, but they will remember how they felt. And when they leave and they haven't made a purchase, they're going to go other places, maybe, and they may go online. And how are they feeling when they go online? How are they feeling when they do this? And I think that is really lost in a lot of businesses, not just the mattress industry. Is like, we need to really focus on that customer as a person, and how we make them feel. And that goes a long way in how they eventually trust you. So that resonated with me. The second example, the culture, and that gets thrown around a lot. Sales culture, business culture, all of that stuff. But it takes leadership. And so I just think to myself, like, some people, I just don't feel like you can say you're a born leader. I think people are born, and then they either commit themselves to be leaders and train themselves with podcasts and, getting involved in masterminds and getting a mentor and trying to do their best to lead great teams. And I think if you're wanting to change or improve your culture in a business, it really comes with committing yourself to be a better leader and empowering your people to be involved in it and allow them to, like you said, be in the videos, have them feel like they have some skin in the game. They're not just doing their job. They're actually involved and, are inspired to come into work. Kaiser method. Get 1% better every. Sweat the small stuff, get
Yeah.
better, and get and then impart that on your staff, and you'll create a better culture for yourself.
Yeah, and the one thing that you made me think about, and I'm really super glad that you kind of dove into the customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
All three of these stores, if Mrs. Jones shops and then Mr. and Mrs. Jones have dinner that night, and they were in all three of these stores, all
Mm-hmm.
three of these stores are going to get brought up in conversation because they have very unique things going on visually in their display that set them apart from other mattress stores.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you cannot help but be if Mrs. Jones shopped at 4 or 5 stores that day and shopped either A, B, or C,
Yeah.
in my example, they're she's gonna tell him all about A, B, or C
Yeah.
because it visually was different, experientially it was different, and that's huge. So if you almost out of business, look like every other mattress store, stop doing that. Put your personality into it.
Yeah.
And was asked a great question years and years ago, and my dealer started decorating his store in a particular way. And he goes, "Is this stupid?" And I said, "Do you think it's stupid?" He goes, "Well, I'm a little worried." I go, "Tell me what you're worried about." He goes, "Well, not everybody loves, the way I'm decorating." And I said, "If you love it and it's an extension of you, and you keep going in this direction, when you get this all the way done, you're gonna have a huge advantage. The
Mm.
the few people that don't buy from you, they're gonna remember what your store looked like. You're
Yeah.
gonna be the topic of conversation at dinner." And he just went, "I never thought of it that way." I said, "Think of it that way, brother."
Yeah.
And he went all in on that direction. And you've never seen a store like this. You'll never see another one like it. And that's what we need more of in our industry.
Yeah.
So, what's the next question, brother?
All right, next question, and this is a long one, so this may take us to the end of the show. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's actually this is a great question. This is from Thinking About It in Ohio,
Okay.
and Thinking About It in Ohio says, "I'm still kicking around the idea of potentially re-entering the furniture and mattress industry, and I have a few questions I'd like to ask you regarding mattress retailers specifically." And so we can tackle these. There's 4 of them, so we can we can tackle these. I think these are great questions, and for those that have these same types of questions or additional questions, please hit us up in the chat. Pete goes in, answers every question, and of course, if you have any follow up, please email us at peteprimo@ameritech.net. But question number 1, and Pete, you want to just attack each one of these individually, or should I read all 4 of them?
Let's go individually.
Okay. Question number 1, what would you say the annual sales volume of an individual mattress firm is? It's a curious question. Annual sales volume of an individual mattress firm.
So thinking about it in Ohio, I don't have that number off the top of my head. If I was going to hazard a guess, and this is a guess, and I'm going to tell you how to get the answer. I'm guessing it would be close to 1 million. They have purged a lot of stores, and I'm thinking it's going to be in the neighborhood of a million, and I could be overshooting it a little bit, but that's where I think it is. How you actually get there is get the latest annual reports. They report their numbers, divide it by the number of stores, and you should have it. What's the next question?
Is there a repository for, mattress industry analytics, or is it just, I mean, I know that betting news, does, has information about
No,
the industry, or is there?
Alex does a great job with Bed and
Mhm,
News now. Furniture Today does report some things. ISPA is probably the best one
mhm.
for reliable numbers.
Okay.
Um, so you could probably find that in an ISPA report. If you can't, you can probably find it in a Furniture Today report. Um, but the numbers out there. What do we got?
Oh, okay. Question number two: what would you say the annual sales volume of an that's actually the same question repeated. Okay, so we have one
No,
less question. You
no,
answered
no,
that.
no, 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 no. They asked a question about Mattress Firm. This is
Oh,
a
okay. I see. Okay,
a
so this is.
random retailer. So I'm assuming that you're saying mattress retailer, so that means sleep shop to me. And you're going to be shocked at my answer, but I am going to say the average is 350 to 400,000. And a lot of people are thinking that's low, but I think I'm very confident in that number. That is a number that you could probably get off of an ISPA report as well and double check me. And if anything, I will say this to you, which will even be a more shocking statement to you. I'm too high. It might come in at 300 to 350. But that's what it is. It's 350 to 400,000 for a sleep shop average. The big ones with the little ones. There's a lot of little guys that just do a couple $100,000. So, um, next question.
All right.
I'm plowing through.
I mean,
I'm
it,
like
it looked like it was
service.
just a complete retail, a complete repeat question. Mattress firm and mattress
Well,
retailer. So,
I think what thinking about's doing is he wants to look at the gap
mhm.
between a mattress firm and a average retailer who does a lot of things wrong, but mattress firms do a lot of things wrong too. So we're
Hey,
going to get into this.
hey,
All right.
listen. Yeah. Here we go. Question number three: do you have any mattress retailers excelling in online sales, and do vendors support this? This is curious. That's not information I'm even aware of.
Wow. Um the short answer to part number 1, do you have any mattress retailers excelling in online sales? The short answer is no in broad strokes, but yes, one specifically that I know about who actually closed his business because he got so good on online sales. And it's a bigger job than he ever thought it was going to be. And here's the thing, it's a moving target. Like if you
Yeah.
think you master online sales and then you're done, no, 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 no. You're really not.
Mm.
um and do vendors support this? That's a great question. Some do, most don't. Let's let's just talk about what nobody wants to talk about. And by the way, I should do this at the top of every one of my shows. I'm an independent sales rep. I own my own business. My opinions that are on these shows are my opinions and my opinions only. They are not the opinions of any of the lines that I represent, because some of the things that I do say are not popular with some of the lines I represent, just so you know. So, with that said,
Interesting. Yeah,
yes,
maybe we should be adding that disclaimer in all of the episodes so that
should
we don't.
start it should start with that actually. And yeah,
Yeah,
we
well,
should. We should. Do vendors support this? It depends on the vendor.
mhm.
Um, and I will tell you another thing that you're not asking about, but if you're thinking about it in Ohio, you're smart. You know, I know who this is, and it's hard for me not to say his name, but I'm trying to give him, you know, some some shade here and not call him out. So Do vendors support this? Some do, some don't. Every vendor right now that I know, and vendors that, I barely know, are scrambling, trying to figure out, making investments in social media experts,
Mm.
making investments in SEO experts, making an investment in IT people. They are all scrambling, figuring out how do they do this, A, for themselves, maybe with a private brand, maybe not. How do they do it? The good ones that I really enjoy working with are trying to figure out how to do it for their customers, how to help a sleep shop, how to help a furniture store
Mm.
be better online, because it's a big piece of the business. And so there's no easy answer on this one thinking about it, but it's a very, very smart question to ask. And from when you were in the business, it's all changed. The days of, sticking a sign in front of your door, it's over.
Yeah.
You have to have a website. You have to be on social media. Whether you love social media or you hate it, you have to make a separation that it is a business tool, and you need to be on probably more social media than you really want to be on. And you're better off if you can hire it done with professionals and hold them accountable. Um,
Mm.
so the business has changed, and I see that you understand the business has changed by question number three. It's a very important question, and those who learn how to uh, market online, get people into their store, and actually sell online. And those are two different things, but you have to have a great online presence anymore. You can't have a so-so website. You have to have a
Right.
really good
And
website.
that takes investing and committing
It
to that.
does.
It's not free to do that.
And the lowest price guy in some other country is not going to be your answer normally.
Mm.
So,
Well, and it's true, Pete, that a lot of customers, when they walk through that door, they're not just coming in cold. They've done some research. They have a concept of, like shopping for a car, for example. I mean, we've all, like, when it's time to make a fairly large purchase, and sometimes a mattress is a large purchase depending on what you're doing, and that you understand sleep's important, and you understand, like, I've got to do something about my sore back, and I need to replace my mattress. You're going to do some research, and even if you have that mindset of, I want to support, small business or independent business in your area, or I want to be able to lay on the mattress and feel it and see it, and that whole thing, they still come equipped with research. They still understand generally what price we're looking at for these particular types of mattresses. And so that, I think, affects this, right? It affects, hey, listen, I can walk into the store and lay on the mattress and then walk out the door and then order it online from someone else and have it shipped. And then you have to, as a retailer, be able to have something else to keep them from doing that, right?
yeah, so he brought up so many good points, but this is huge. Um, Sticking our head in the sand like an ostrich is not a good idea in today's
Mm,
new world.
right.
You have to assume these things. They've done online research,
Yeah.
they poked around, they have seen good information, and they have seen bad information. They have read outright lies that they believe are true. And you are going to have to, with your sales process, go in there and surgically remove it, bring it to the light of day, and deal with it, or you're going to lose a sale over something you never even knew about. Think about that.
Mm,
So, yes, over 80% of customers have been, and that has
mm,
moved. That has continuously moved. The latest number is over 80% of consumers shop in a mattress store they have, in a furniture store for that matter,
Yeah.
they have done online research. And like I said, they've gotten good and they've gotten bad information. And you need to understand what they have, what is going on in their head, what they've seen, and you need to get them to bring it out to the light of day so that you can do a good job for them, because you have a moral responsibility.
Mm.
And the moral responsibility is this: they should be better off for having come into your store and having met you, whether they buy from you or not. If you do a great job for them and you help educate them with correct information that helps them get a better night's sleep, helps them wake up happy and pain free, then you're doing something special. You're doing something that will be rewarded with money down the road. Whether or not it gets rewarded at that moment, you're separating yourself from your competitors, because sticking our head in the sands is not getting it done anymore. You've got to bring it up. You need to shop your competitors every day. You need to shop your vendors. You need to understand what your vendors are putting out there. One is, XYZ company running, free blah, blah, blah for online purchases. You better be up out there and matching it before you get called on the carpet about it. Do it up front instead of getting, dragged to it. So just a few thoughts there. That was a really good question. And I see you're very serious about getting back into the business, thinking about it.
Right.
What's this last one?
In your opinion, why are independent mattress retailers not scaling?
Wow. Dude, you're coming back.
We could do a whole show on this, right?
Yeah, you just told me you're coming back now. So, dude, call me 419-560-3169.
Well,
We
this is
got
a big idea. This isn't just like this. Thinking about it in Ohio is saying, and I don't know if you noticed this, potentially re-entering the furniture and mattress industry. And that, when I think we kind of skated by that. This is a person that was in the industry, is now not, but is thinking about coming in and is wondering about scaling. Because I think this is a fantastic question, right? But at some point, you've got to go, right, and fail and learn and fail again and fail faster and do these things with risk. But he's saying that independent retailers are not scaling. Is that a true statement, Pete? Do we know? Do we have examples of independent retailers who are?
It's a very well. Some do, most don't.
Okay.
So it's 80 to 95% true, probably 85 to 95% true.
Wow.
So here's the answer. And listen, I have to let everybody know something. The gentleman that wrote this, I know him very well, and I love doing business with him. He was very successful. He built a business by himself, by the sweat of his brow and his magnificent brain, as you can see by these questions. And he is very, very smart. He sold his business. So this question just tells me so much. So you know me, and I'm going to give you a blunt answer, and it's not a simple answer. This is multiple reasons why. So, yes, you're 100% right. Most retailers don't scale. Most mattress retailers don't scale for one overwhelming huge reason, because they have nothing to scale. What they've done is they created a job. They didn't create a business. And so I love the idea that you're coming back into this with the idea, I'm not creating a job. I'm creating a business. And so what do you need with a to have a business that's scalable? You have to have a vision, you have to have differentiation. You then have to do the hard work of shopping all of the competitors, figuring out exactly what that differentiation is going to look like, not only in merchandising, but more importantly, to Chris Stone's point, customer experience. How is this customer experience going to be different than the other customer experiences? Most stores are created to give the owner a job. That is the dirty little secret in our business. I'm sorry. I just can't be any blunter than that. And so, if you create a job, what don't you have? You don't have process. You don't have procedures. You don't have SOPs. You don't document. You don't cross train. You don't make sure that you have a holistic experience. So that's why, because they're not looking to do that, my friend, to begin with. You coming back into this at this point in your life after you've experienced a lot of success, you successfully sold your store that you had before, you're coming back into it with a completely different lens. And I love it. I
Mm.
love how you're thinking. So start off with shopping everybody and looking at what you like and what you don't like and creating something for Mrs. Jones that she's absolutely going to love. That Mrs. Jones, when she goes out shopping 4 or 5 different mattress stores, she comes back to the dinner table and she says this, "You're not going to believe this.
Mm.
This store, they were so different than everybody else. They actually cared. They did this, and the other thing. And they couldn't have been any nicer. I mean, I just loved going to this store.
Yeah.
Honey, I got to bring you back." So
And,
you
if they feel a certain way, Pete, sometimes they can't even express it. They're like, I looked at this and I looked at this store and I looked at this store, but there's just something about that person that I dealt with at this store. I just, like in the price almost doesn't matter at that point. It's just like, I just feel like I trust this person more. I just got that feeling from the experience. And you can't really put it into words. It's not like here, do these 10 things to create an experience. Sometimes it's just being a good person and having the mindset of helping someone and, like just walking them through that and then not having a salesy sort of vibe or whatever, what commission breath or whatever we call it. And you're just giving someone a great experience that they can't tangibly say it was this, it was this, it was this. I don't know what it was. I just feel like there's just something about that. Yep. And so I think, we use all these phrases and 5-star experience is something that Jeff Giannakovo talks about at Gardeners and all of that kind of stuff. And they do have very tactical ways of doing it. But if you follow that to a T, it just becomes intrinsic in your DNA and how you deal with people. And sometimes they don't know why. They just know that they should. Does that make sense?
Yep. I love where your head's at. I think you're coming back in. I think you're coming back in and we just need to talk. So that was a great question.
Yeah, that was. We got another one as we're taking we're rounding third here.
This is I'm exhausted.
This is a good one though. This is from Pissed in Ohio. Okay, this is a good one to end the show on. Pissed in Ohio's pissed because he or she missed Vegas. I saw after the Vegas shows you did. Thank you for that. Yeah, we did. If you are curious as to what happened in Vegas, we did a number of shows preliminary to Vegas. We did shows that were broadcast during what was happening at Vegas, and then some post recaps as well, with a ton of different folks that attended, were a part of that, BIA, etc. So if you did not catch that, please go back and binge. And you can find all of those podcasts on your favorite podcast player, as well as YouTube and all of the places. So Piston Ohio says, I need to maximize every customer that comes in with the best product possible. Okay. I hate driving 7 hours to Chicago, but if you have some new two-sided and new split heads, I guess I'll have to. So do you have new two-sided and new split heads?
Piston, Ohio. So the answer is yes, but I have some really great news. We're going to have an open house. And since you sent this in, you probably got the invitation to the open house. My open houses are different than other open houses. Number one, they're not open. You have to have an appointment to come in. But number two, more importantly, it's not just about product. We have great bonus sessions where we help you sell what you're about to buy. And it's 90% store owners. So Jeff Janakovo will be there. Randy Thompson will be there. Scott Vaughn will be there. Chris Tahaney, the senior VP of sales at DreamFit, will be there and speaking. And I've saved the best for last. The great Bob Munkle will be there with a talk. Turn no into yes. So Bob Munkle, probably well regarded as the best sales trainer in the industry, will have 2 sessions on Saturday at the DoubleTree in Columbus, Ohio, 6500 DoubleTree Avenue. And so it's going to be Tuesday, March 26th, Wednesday, March 27th, and then Thursday, March 28th. I've got 4,800 square feet of mattresses coming at you. There will be new two-sided that was not shown in Vegas. There will be new split heads. There will be new latex beds, and there will be new latex beds that have split head configurations as well. So all you got to do is drive to Columbus. And if you're driving more than a couple hours, I'm happy to get you a room at the Crown Plaza. We'll pay for it, and we will. I'd love for you not to be pissed, and I'd love for you to come see our new split heads, our new two-sided, our new latex, and I would absolutely love it if you attended at least one of those bonus sessions. They're 100% free, and we're going to have a great time, guys. This will be the best mattress success summit that we've ever had. And I call them mattress success summits because that's what they are. It's not just about product. It's about training. It's about helping you become a better business owner. We have a guy that we've had on the show. I love him to death. Tyler Rich, only been 6 years in the business, owns Mattress Central in Fairmont, West Virginia. He's an expert on videos and Facebook marketing. That's going to be his topic. Jeff and Scott are going to light it up. And none other than the adjustable bed guru, Randy Thompson, will be there. If you're not selling as many adjustable beds, don't miss that session, guys. So, man, oh man. Well, that's it. That's the end of the show.
Time flies when you're asking Pete. I love it. Great show. And as always, folks, if you have any questions for the legend Pete Primeau. Please email everything to Pete Primeau. See how I do, Pete? Like, if you can embarrass me calling me the best producer in the world, I can embarrass you calling you a legend. And there are many people that would agree with me, and not so many about.
There are a lot of people that call me the legend because I've been around for 43 years.
Hey,
I don't
just
know.
take it, man.
I don't know if it's
jacket.
good or if it's bad. If they think I'm fossilized and I'm irrelevant or what. But Chris, thank you. This was
Pete.
great to be able to
My
get
pleasure.
through some of these questions. And man, guys, until I see you next time, go sell 1 million. And if you have any questions at all, call me at 419-560-3169. And really quickly, if any of you are thinking of doing a podcast, and you should, call this man, Chris Stone. How do they get a hold of you, Chris?
Just go to chrisstone.contact. You can always catch me at castahead.net as well, or chris@castahead.net. Thanks for that, Pete.
You bet. Have a great one. Sell 1 million, everybody.